Time now for Eye on Africa. The headlines. UN and aid agencies warn time is running out to tackle the humanitarian crisis that's gripping Eastern Africa. Elsewhere, we report from DRC and a new scheme to tackle illegal logging in the country's iconic Virunga National Park. Teaching rugby in a football-mad nation, a new project founded by a former French rugby captain sees disadvantaged youngsters take up the oval ball. We start with aid agencies and the United Nations. They've said its time is running out to save populations from drought and starvation in Eastern Africa. That with over 20 million people in need of urgent humanitarian assistance. Areas of Somalia, Ethiopia and Kenya have been deserted amid crop failure, with livestock left for dead. That as conflict and displacement expose people in South Sudan to hunger and starvation. France Van Kat's Nikolai Jaman reports.
The self-declared autonomous state of Somaliland has now faced 3 consecutive years without rain. When food aid is distributed, it sometimes provokes fights. The situation is critical for the state's 4 million inhabitants. Local officials ask the outside world to send help immediately.
If we want to save lives, it's now. We need action now. It's not tomorrow, it's not after tomorrow. It won't help. Because when the people lost their animals, now people are starting dying. And it's very, very difficult to control the situation now.
Across Somaliland, animal carcasses are a common sight. Because of the drought, up to 70% of livestock have perished in some areas.
These are the leftovers of the sheep. We pray God, we ask him for help. This drought has killed all our cattle.
Somalia too has been hard hit by the drought. In recent weeks, hundreds of people have come to this clinic in Mogadishu after walking for days on a harrowing journey.
I had 4 children. 2 died on the journey here, and the 2 others are sick. I'm 8 months pregnant. I don't have water or food. I don't have shoes. I have nothing.
Nearly 3 million people cannot meet their daily food requirements. The World Food Programme is providing many Somalis with digital cards.
It's a card which the World Food Programme is loading with funds that allow the most vulnerable family access shops across Somalia. A network of 700 shops has been established.
Somalis and international organisations are asking for more help to avoid a repeat of the 2011 famine that claimed 250,000 lives.
Let's get some more African news in brief now. And pirates who hijacked an oil tanker off the coast of Somalia are demanding a ransom for its release. And according to the EU naval force that patrols the region, the 1,800-ton Comoros-registered Aris 13 was seized on Monday with 8 Sri Lankan crew members on board. The first such incident off the coast of Somalia since 2012. Burundi's health ministry says the country is facing a malaria epidemic, that with authorities having registered 1.8 million infections and 700 deaths since January. That's a 17% increase from the same period last year. Government's asking for donations, with UN officials saying medication to treat the disease is running out. The country's been in a political crisis since President Pierre Nkurunziza's controversial bid to seek another term in office in 2015. 2 people have died, 16 injured after 4 teenage female suicide bombers blew themselves up in northern Nigeria. The attack coming in a residential area of the city of Maiduguri. It stands at the heart of the region worst hit by the jihadist group Boko Haram's 8-year insurgency. More than 15,000 people have been killed, 2 million displaced amid the violence. Meanwhile, the regional forces fighting Boko Haram say they freed thousands of captives after a week-long operation along Nigeria's border with Cameroon. 21 suspects were also reportedly arrested during the raid in the Mandara Mountains. Gambia's new president, Adama Barrow, has met French President Francois Hollande here in Paris. Barrow is due in Brussels on Thursday as part of his first official trip outside Africa as leader. Well, he took office finally in January after his predecessor, Yahya Jammeh, had initially refused to give up power despite losing an election. Speaking to Fos Van Kat, Barrow said his predecessor didn't leave the country empty-handed.
We are still inquiring. As of now, the amount is up to $4 billion. there will be an inquiry set up to find out exactly what have transpired. We are trying to see what is in foreign accounts. We are working on all that.
The Democratic Republic of Congo next, where a new WWF scheme aims to tackle deforestation in one of the country's treasures. Virunga National Park is under threat, with locals dependent on charcoal production from within its boundaries. Now moves are being made to provide an alternative source to the illegal industry, as our correspondent Thomas Nicolan reports.
In the village of Kichanga in North Kivu, most of the charcoal or makala that can be found comes from trees cut down in Virunga National Park. In order to slow down deforestation, the Worldwide Fund for Nature launched the Eco Makala project. The replantation process starts in a nursery.
The nursery is very important because it's where we select the viable sprouts that are going to prosper in the plantations. Without this step, we would lose a lot of trees in the plantations.
Thanks to Eco Makala, almost 25,000 acres of trees have been planted around Virunga since 2007. This initiative aims at protecting Africa's oldest national park, but it also helps local farmers to develop economically.
The aim of planting these trees is to fight against global warming, but we can also make money out of it. I can cut branches from my trees and sell those at the markets so that I can earn money.
The wood from these plantations is then burned in an innovative hearth. The charcoal is highly productive and usage per household is reduced by half. But this is not the only benefit.
On top of having high calorific properties, when it's made in this kind of hearth, the coal is a lot cleaner. People from nearby villages keep asking for more charcoal that's produced this way.
According to a UN report, rebel groups in eastern Congo earn $12 to $35 million a year selling illegal charcoal. Putting an end to this illicit trade could save Virunga's forest, but also weaken guerrilla groups that have been wreaking havoc in the region for more than 20 years.
Now, as one of the longest-serving leaders in world football about to be unseated, Cameroon's Issa Hayatou is bidding for an 8th term as head of the Confederation of African Football. He's facing an unprecedented challenge from Madagascar's Ahmed Ahmed, who's picked up key votes for the call for change. Will be revealed after Thursday's vote in the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa. To Cameroon, finally, where moves are afoot to encourage youngsters in a football-mad nation to play rugby. Our reporters Marcel Omoko and Sigoto Chaya took a look around a new academy founded in the land of his birth by former French rugby captain Serge Betsen.
Rushing to an empty lot, the young players of the Serge Betsen Academy in Bafia head to rugby practice. This afternoon, the 30 or so players practice drills under the watchful eye of their trainer.
I don't want any mindless violence.
Coach Jean-Cyril believes he's teaching the team more than just the principles of the game.
This is where they learn and practice the principles of solidarity and how to help each other. You saw earlier when one of them is in trouble, they all gather around to help him out or to offer a solution. When it works out, that's how they understand that in life they should act the same.
The teens board at the academy and are passionate about their chosen sport. They've taken up rugby in a country where football is king. Many feel they're not only learning important life skills, but also cultivating a drive to succeed, like the institution's founder.
Rugby makes me want to follow in the footsteps of our big brother, Serge Betsen.
Many of the children come from disadvantaged families. Every weekend, many head to the nearby academy headquarters for classes and sports tutoring. Claudette is one of the pupils being inspired by the school.
That's our big brother, Serge.
Though she's never seen him, Serge Betsen's accomplishments as a former French rugby union flanker are legendary, and he is her inspiration.
I really want to meet him because it's rare to meet a person who offers help to people he doesn't even know, and for free.
The rugby school also has a social program that provides free meals. The concept behind the Betsen Academy has been implemented in 5 centres in Cameroon. Geneviève is their coordinator.
Il est parti jeune du Cameroun.
He left Cameroon when he was young, and then he came back for a while. He wanted to help all these children to have good living conditions.
Des bonnes conditions, on va dire, de vie.
A new Serge Betsen Centre is due to open in April, and the man himself is expected in Cameroon for the inauguration.
That's it for Iron Africa. Thanks for watching.
نقاش فرانس 24 جدل الآن وحديث وتعليق من وفي كل مكان.
France 24, c'est une passerelle entre les cultures, c'est la diversité.
It's also a great way of sharing it and discussing it on social media.
We give a voice to women and girls, whoever they are, wherever they are.
هل تعرفون باريس؟ أحقاً تعرفونها؟ تابعوا France 24 لمعرفة المزيد.
Tout ce que vous avez toujours voulu savoir sur l'Europe, c'est sur notre chaîne.